welcome in everybody to another episode of the Unhinged FC podcast. Joining me as usual, Hector and Edward from the Insert Name FC podcast, and I'm Kelsey from the High Low Sports podcast. Now, if you guys missed it, obviously you didn't hear us last week. We did not have any games to talk about last week, so we took a break. Took a little break, just like everybody else in the Champions League, just to recap, and kind of collect ourselves before this crazy Leg 2's kickoff. And boy, are they kicking off in a fun way. We talked about Leg 1, Juve Porto. Obviously, we all thought Juve was going to walk away with that one, and Porto said, no. Well, just wait just a minute. And Wojciech Szczesny, looking like Jojak Szczesny. I mean, he looked awful. It was ugly. Juve is now down 2-1 on aggregate. 2 goals, home goals for Porto, whereas it's 1 away goal for Juve. So it's like basically 2 to 1.5 on the aggregate scores. They are playing back at home at Juve. And the other game for today, for Tuesday, Borussia Dortmund versus Sevilla. And this one, I mean, I don't think we all saw it was going to be a barn burner. This was a crazy game from the start. Erling Haaland, just that's the tweet. That's all there is to it. It's just Erling Haaland. I mean, 3-2 on aggregate. Borussia Dortmund had 3 away goals versus Sevilla's 2 home goals. So you talk about an advantage taking 3 away goals into a home match where you have Sevilla, who is not the most attacking side in the world. They did still manage 2 at home, but can they manage more away? We'll see. But guys, glad to be back. Glad to have you guys back on the show. Glad to be back on Unhinged FC. It feels great talking about soccer again, or football, if you will. How was your guys' week off?
It was good.
Yeah? Yeah, Hector, what about you?
Got to relax a little bit. I mean, still preparing with soccer talk, obviously, because that's our podcast. I mean,
yeah.
so the soccer didn't stop for us, but I mean, yes, of course. Champions League is back, and obviously we want to definitely get down in with this second legs.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, if I'm not mistaken, Hector, didn't you lose a bet? Don't you have another singing bet coming up here soon?
So yeah, Thursday. I didn't technically lose since my team drew.
Oh, so you guys both have to sing. Okay.
Yeah. So for people that don't know the rules, we do have it posted on our Twitter, the rules of these singing bets. But basically, for Insert Name FC, me, Edward, and Spencer, our producer, we all 3 of us just happen to be fans of the 3-headed monster of La Liga, which obviously Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid. And so this past weekend, Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid faced off. So basically me and Spencer went against each other. And basically it is winner gets to pick the song that the loser has to sing for our outro. And in the event of a draw, just so happens that the third party gets to pick the song that the 2 guys have to go ahead and do a duet on. And it's funny because this is the first time that Edward actually gets to pick a song because he's lost every single bet of his.
Lost twice already.
Oh man, I can't wait. I know I'm excited for it because, like we talked about many times in here, you guys lead into my show, into High Low Sports on Thursdays. So that's basically, I'm gonna just say that's our intro on Thursday. Is gonna be your guys' duet. I can't wait. I'm super excited for it because it's just last time was Never Gonna Let You Down. I mean, it was a Rickroll. It was a fantastic Rickrolls, maybe one of the best Rickrolls I've experienced. I've been a part of so far. So I can't wait for that.
Shout out to Spencer, man.
Yeah, that was a fantastic one. That was
Spencer, man.
One of these days we might have to bring him in when we have to do our singing episode. We might have to get him in just to add some background vocals. See if he's down with that. But getting into the games, guys, obviously we talked about it. We'll start with Juve versus Porto. This is kind of the big one. Ronaldo, Juve, they aren't expected to get to lose this game. This was probably one of the most quote-unquote unwatchable games going into this one. Hector, what did you see from Juventus that just didn't work? What didn't work in Leg 1?
I mean, just sloppy. Yeah, I think that's the phrase you gotta look at it. I mean, a questionable call with the first goal. I mean, it wasn't necessarily Porto's creation. It was just kind of just Juve just letting them get in front of them and scoring goals. A very questionable Szczesny pass to the defender that ends up bumping into a Porto player. And then to start the second half of the match, you just let Porto waltz right in and score another goal. So I mean, it was just sloppy. I feel like if the phrase to use for Juventus. They just got complacent. They saw that it was Porto. Kind of the same thing how we did. We all got. I think we all were complacent at this point, but Porto got things done. But I mean, it's not necessarily a massive failure for Juventus because I mean, they did come out with an away goal. That's going to be very big for them. I mean, all they need is a goal this game, and they're on to the next round.
Yeah, definitely. And it was Chiesa who got that goal for Juve there, scoring in the final 20 minutes to kind of get them back in the game, really, because if they go down 2-0 and go home at 2-0, I mean, you already know Porto's just going to park the bus, guaranteed. And you might see the same thing. We don't know. We'll get to that one in a minute. But Edward, what about you, man? What did Porto do well in this match? I mean, we talk about what Juve did bad, but we got to give credit where credit's due. Porto won this match. What did they do well?
Well, I mean, I guess you could say they took advantage of Juventus sloppiness. They took advantage of it. And that's actually what you should do, knowing that you're the underdog going into one of these games against elite team.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's where you kind of have to step it up. That's where they stepped up. They did it right. That's the reason why they got the win. I want to say, yeah, credit is due. Porto did exactly what they needed to do. Keep on the pressure. Even if Juventus had literally 66% of the possession, the counterattacking is what helped them out. Even just kicking the ball out, shoot, I would have done the same thing. Hell, I've done the same thing. So I mean, they did it right. They played smart, and that's exactly. And if Porto wants to actually go ahead and either keep 0-0, keep it up like that, they go ahead and move on to the next round. But as a Juventus fan, I want Juventus to come out on top. Okay.
So yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, that was, you hit it nail on the head. If they kind of want to play sloppy in the second round, and when I say sloppy, I don't mean like sloppy like the way Juventus played. I mean like sloppy, like just sort of messing the game up, interrupting any moves, any flows. That's definitely wouldn't surprise me if Porto's able to do that. But getting to that point. Hector, what does Porto need to do to progress? Right now, they do have the 2-1 advantage on aggregate. They are playing away. Obviously, like I said, it's more like 2 to 1.5 on aggregate because of the away goal rule. But they are playing at Juventus. So what does this Porto side need to do to seal their victory to get ahead?
I mean, obviously, some people are probably going to just say park the bus and call it a day and hope that they can do something with the counterattack. I don't think you could do that with Juventus.
You can't.
I mean, it's something that we've said on Insert Name FC plenty of times. When you go up against these upper echelon type teams like a Juventus, you gotta go in with some haymakers. Like you gotta keep them down. Like you got Juve stumbling a little bit right now. You gotta keep pounding on them. If you can get an away goal on them, you're putting more pressure now on Juventus. Now, because they gotta score 2 goals, you gotta put them in a situation where they need. I mean, right now, Juve's been struggling as of lately in some of their recent games. They've been winning their matches, but I mean they're not the Juve that we all expect to see from this team. So I mean the big thing would just be, can Porto capitalize from what they built and put some more pressure onto Juventus and come out with a big upset.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, I did a blog on this one for the network, and that was my exact point. Pressure. I mean, you can't come out complacent if you're Porto. They force Juve to make another mistake early. I mean, if they can capitalize on another mistake early, this team is prone to them, especially Chesney. If you talk about his inability to be consistent, he is probably one of the most inconsistent premier.
I seriously do not know how this guy starts over Buffon, even though Buffon is not in the prime of his life. I still probably rather have him than Chesney.
Buffon has that leadership quality that he will yell at these dudes and tell them exactly where they need to be. He'll see the game from a whole different kind of perspective that maybe not any of us expected. We see it from the side. He literally is seeing it end to end. So he'll be able to tell you, hey, you better watch out for this guy on the wing. He's coming in. Or you better watch out for this dude in the middle. He'll pass the ball right
I also think Buffon wouldn't have done the boneheaded pass that Chesney did.
Yeah, no, that was dumb. I mean, why you put it in pressure and you put it out to your left back who's, I mean, he's not a ball winning left back. He is a cleared out left back. That was a terrible idea. But yeah, no, I mean, to your point, Buffon in a wheelchair with a walker, I'll take over Wojciech Szczesny pretty much any day of the week. I mean, really, Buffon is just that talented. As a former keeper, he was the guy I
He
looked up
is.
to. I bought the same gloves as him, try to match, and I wasn't that good, but it made me feel better. But on the flip side of things, Edward, Juventus has to come back from a hole. I mean, it's they did get that away goal, so it's not a huge hole. I mean, if they score one and keep it 1-0, they will advance on away goals.
Yeah.
But what do they really need to do to really cement themselves? Because you can't just barely beat Porto and feel comfortable about your moving forward. Like, what do they really
No.
need to do to progress and progress comfortably?
Well, honestly, they need to keep attacking. They can't just let up just because they got 1, 2 goals. If anything, they have to. They can go calmly into it if they were winning 4-0. But that's a big possibility. Like not a high possibility that it's actually going to happen, or that it's a high probability that's going to happen. But it's shooting for the stars, in my opinion, with the way Juventus has been playing recently. So, and especially with, like you said, the pardon my language, but the fuck up. So
Yeah,
just it's just I really feel like that's the only way that Juventus can actually be like, okay, now we can take it down 20%. Not even full, not even just okay, we can just pass the ball, play around, whatever. No, they'll just take it down 20. They basically um and if I'm not mistaken, is Ronaldo gonna play? He's
he
playing.
was
I mean,
projected.
he was benched last game, so I'm
That's what
sure
I'm saying. Like, is he gonna
he
play?
I'm sure he'll play.
Yeah, he's still in the
Okay, so
projected starting lineup for it as of today, but
okay,
we'll
so
see.
he needs to be up there. He needs to do whatever it is that he needs to freaking stretch out his right foot, do them rocket kicks and knuckleballs. Do that. He needs to practice them hops if he needs to. Them headers. He
I
needs
mean,
to do all that.
we gotta say for what it is, man. I mean, the big reason why Juventus went all out to bring Cristiano Ronaldo to Turin was to win a Champions League, and
Yeah.
I mean, they thought that this guy would be the final piece of the puzzle, um, and it's kind of now you're having people and reporters questioning maybe if this was a terrible mistake for to bring Cristiano Ronaldo to Juventus. Maybe he just wasn't the right guy for Juventus. And I mean, kind of how I said from the beginning, from one of like when we talked about this on Insert Name FC. This was kind of my team to like kind of don't be surprised if this team can make a run, especially of how off a lot of these top teams are. I mean, aside from Bayern Munich, but I mean all the big clubs right now have not looked like the big clubs that we're used to seeing. So I mean, and Juve definitely has a good chance at being able to take a big shot at making a big push to make it to the Champions League final. But I mean, they also have their struggles as well. But yeah, I mean, this is more so not. I mean, the pressure's on Juventus, but the more pressure is on Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, he needs to look like the competition's all-time leading
Yeah.
scorer if they're going to have a hope of getting out. I mean, and we've seen it from him. We've seen it from him from Portugal. We've seen it from him when he was with Madrid, with Man United. I mean, even back to his days playing in Portugal. The dude can score at will, really, when he wants to. I know he's 36, so it's obviously not as much as will as before. But the guy's still basically, if he wants to do it, he's a man-made freak that can go do it.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with you guys. Like he needs to be the focus. I definitely agree. He's 100% the guy that needs the most.
He's basically the key
Yeah,
for Juventus to actually win to go to the next round.
he's the key to get that Ferrari going. To use an Italian thing. So that's the method to the madness. But guys, so predictions for this. What's the score? Who advances for you guys? Edward, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm gonna be reasonable, and I do have to also think about that. The goals already that Porto has. So I would say 3-0. So in all, it would be aggregate 4-2.
Okay.
So I think that in Juventus's favor. So yeah, and that's the thing. I actually feel like maybe Ronaldo will score one. He won't score all three, but he will be contributing if he plays the whole game.
Yeah. Okay, that's an interesting one. I mean, I definitely can see that. Look, with Juventus, we talk about it. They could. It's a moment of snapping their fingers for them to get 4
Yeah.
goals. I mean, they are that quick, if you will. Hector, what about you, man? So Edward has it 3-0, and then Juve advancing 4-2 on aggregate. What about you?
I definitely think Juventus is definitely gonna be on top of their game. I mean, I think that they're gonna tighten. I'm sure
Oh,
Andrea Pirlo has done all his homework now. He's gotten on into the practice on the practice field, making sure that this team is not gonna make the same mistakes from the first leg. Um, and I mean, you look at the guys that they can that have that scores. I mean, once again, I'm gonna highlight Morata. I think he comes off of a big game. Just recently, and I'm sure they're gonna want to keep feeding him like they did there, and obviously try maybe add Cristiano Ronaldo into that mix because I feel like that's your pairing right now is having Morata and Cristiano Ronaldo up front. I don't think they're gonna blow them out. I think once they get themselves into a very good, comfortable position, I think that they'll probably maybe ease up a little bit just to because obviously there's still other things to consider. But I'm kind of with Edward. I think this is gonna be a 3-0 win.
Okay, all right. Wow, that's
oh, that's a
impressive.
first.
Yeah, you guys agreed on something. I'm shook right now. Hold on, guys. Wasn't ready for this. No, I'm just kidding. I can see it. I'm not too far off from either of you guys as well. I actually have Juventus scoring 2, going and winning 2-0, so advancing 3-2 on aggregate. The first goal is really a cushion goal. I mean, that gets them there. The second goal
Yeah.
is just purely Pirlo being like, "Look, if you guys fuck up, we're gonna lose. So don't mess up." And so Ronaldo's like, "All right, I got this," and does Ronaldo things to make it a 3-2 aggregate. So I do have Juventus progressing 3-2 on aggregate as well. But I do think it'll be a late goal. I don't think it's going to be that second goal. I don't think it'll be an early goal. I think it'll be a late, like 80th minute, just kind of putting the dagger in and just being like, you know what, boom, we are better. Like,
What? Why do I feel like this is deja vu? We were all predicting, oh, Juventus is gonna win. Oh, Juventus is gonna
No,
win.
yeah, but we also predicted blowouts. So.
Yeah, it was like I think was somebody said 5-0.
I think I said 6-0.
Yeah, Hector was 6. I think
remember,
Edward, you were 4-0.
I said, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be a nice guy. I'm not gonna be a dick about it. And
No, you said that for I think it was like Bayern Munich or something like that. This was like the first episode. We never mentioned about being a dick or an asshole.
No, yeah, that's usually episode 2. That's usually when we get into those topics. But that does it for the first game, guys, and we will be right back after a short break. And as you hear from our sponsors, our network sponsors, and we will be talking about Borussia Dortmund versus Sevilla and who advances there, guys. We will be right back. What's up, everybody? It's Kelsey from the High Low Sports Podcast. If you missed the brand new news, we have partnered with Fanatics.com. So if you're in the market for a brand new t-shirt, brand new hoodie, brand new jersey, no matter the team, no matter the player, no matter the sport, Fanatics.com is your place to stop. Not only does this help support our podcast, but it helps support the entire Unhinged Sports Network. Check the link in our bio or go to unhingedsn.com. I'll be having DJ in the High Low Sports Podcast. See ya. What's up, everybody? It's Kelsey from the High Low Sports Podcast, and we recently partnered with Fubo TV. What is Fubo TV? Fubo TV is a service to broadcast live TV over the internet, no cable required. Watch your favorite teams, network shows, news, and movies on over 100 plus channels. You get channels like CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. You can watch all the games. So go ahead, click that link in our bio, and get started on your 7-day free trial. And stay tuned to some more great programming right here on the Unhinged Sports Network. And we're back, guys. If you guys just tuning in, we did just hear from our sponsors over there at Fanatics and Fubo TV. Obviously, if you guys haven't already checked them out, we definitely recommend checking them out. Fanatics. That's how you get your gear. That's how you show you're a fan. We all need gear to show our fanship to everybody else. Kind of rub it in when our team beats somebody else's, like when Barcelona loses by a lot. But, we like to rub it in against Edward. And his other team in this game coming up, Dortmund versus Sevilla, we'll be talking about. Not as bad for Dortmund. This one ended 3-2 in the game, so 3-2 on aggregate. Borussia Dortmund with the lead on aggregate. That's 3 very big away goals. As I mentioned in the first game, that's basically 1.5 goals per away goal. You look at this, that's a hefty lead, really. You look at that. That's they obviously still need to have 1 goal scored. If Sevilla were to score 1, they still need to score 1 to match. But look, this is a huge lead for Dortmund, who I honestly didn't think was going to do that. Be there. I mean, really, I thought Sevilla's defense was definitely gonna lock down, and I was the only one that went the other way. I think you guys both picked Dortmund, and it was pretty close on both sides. But Hector, we'll start with you, man. What did Dortmund do to get this huge lead away?
I mean, it's the kid. It's the yoga guy. I don't know what else to call him. I mean, yeah, the guy's into yoga. Edward. Apparently, you don't know that about your favorite player. Apparently,
No,
er,
he is. But you just said
you looked all
guy.
confused. So the Zen
No,
master.
I was laughing.
Shut up, Edward. All right, obviously the Zen master Erling Haaland. I mean, this kid is just. The kid is just a freak of nature. I mean, the guy is just unreal. I mean, he's got the pace. He's got he's got this the body. He's got everything that you wanted. He's Robert Lewandowski 2.0 is essentially what he is. And at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Bayern Munich buys him this coming summer transfer window.
He might be faster than Lewandowski was ever too. That's scary.
That's the scary part.
Scary fast.
But I mean, Erling Haaland, you got to keep feeding this kid. I mean, that's what they did. They fed him, and I mean, either the team is so distracted by trying to defend him, and you open somebody else up for a goal, or you try to defend him and he scores a goal. It's like it's a dry rinse repeat. It's literally that's all you got to do when you have someone as talented as Erling Haaland, and when you have so many players that are so good at distributing the ball, like a Thorgan Hazard, like a Gio Reyna, like a Jadon Sancho, like a Guerrero. I mean, Marco Reus as well. I mean, this team is talented with playmakers, and they just happen to have the ultimate weapon in Erling Haaland to just get things done for them. And then don't sleep on Dahoud.
Yeah, I was about to say, you can't sleep on the guy that started the scoring. Dahoud with a beautiful curler to kick off the scoring and tie it back up at 1-1. And then, you said Erling Haaland. I mean, what he's been able to do is just it's outstanding. 18 goals and 13 Champions League appearances. He is on par to have 1 goal for every single game he's played, no matter the competition, this season for Dortmund. That's unheard of. Nobody does that. You don't have 1 goal per game played, period, unless you're playing FIFA. That's about the only time that ever happens.
And it's just crazy that all this was inspired by Mbappe.
Yeah, and that is why I mentioned Barcelona. Mbappe's hat trick against Barcelona Haaland said that is what inspired me, because you look at these two. I mean, I'm gonna pushing ahead to talking about PSG a little bit. Mbappe is a future. We talk about Messi and Ronaldo. The next conversation we'll be having is Mbappe and Haaland, likely. I mean, if we look at just their talent levels right now, those seem to be the 2 favorites to be the next torchbearers, if you will. And to see that, Haaland straight up saying, yeah, I was inspired by what he did. Like, why wouldn't I be? I'm a competitor. I want to do something fun like that.
That's how the rivalry starts, man.
Yeah, and it's a small thing like that. But, yeah, I mean, 18 goals and 13 Champions League appearances. That's a stat in and of itself is just freakish. I mean, for a team that's not progressed to the finals since he's ever been there. So that's absolutely insane. But on the flip side, go ahead.
Also, I mean, at the rate he's going, I wouldn't be surprised at this point if he's already near 100 goals.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I was watching the Classica this weekend, and it was. I mean, that by itself was fascinating to watch. I mean, he's definitely approaching. I think they said he's maybe 15 away from hitting it, and that's what he's 2 years. Really, 2 years as a starter for Dortmund. That's
one year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, about a year and a half.
It's incredible. I mean, the kid is outstanding, and as you mentioned, don't be surprised if Bayern is the team to go get Haaland after this season to replace Lewandowski. Even though Lewandowski is still doing what he does and scoring goals, but like I said,
he's showing up.
Yeah, on the flip side of this, Sevilla, they did manage to get 2 goals at home. They are traveling away to Dortmund for the second match, or for the second leg of this match. And, Edward, what did they do wrong? Obviously, Haaland was a big issue, but they did first allow that goal by Dahoud on the curler. What did they do that you saw that they just need to improve on going into leg 2?
Well, I guess maybe the pressure. They probably need to pressure a little bit more. not to leave so many open spaces. That's probably what it is. Because I mean, Sevilla is they're a fighter team. They're the nitty gritty, but they let Dortmund have a little bit more play with the ball.
Yeah.
Maybe they were expecting the same thing to happen with like as we talked previously with Porto Juventus, even though they were just expecting like maybe a fuck up. Ah, jeez, man, why do I keep a mess up?
Can we not cuss on this, or
I'm
is that a thing
I
here?
feel
Like,
bad. I feel
We are
bad.
called the Unhinged
Anyway,
Sports Network for a reason, is what
well,
Edward's trying
yeah, but
to
still,
say.
I still bad. I feel so bad.
We're gonna have to
But
make you sing a
anyways,
song by yourself just for the cussing.
dang it, nothing but cuss words. But anyways, it's just I really feel that I think that's the game that we're trying to play with Dortmund, because I do feel like Sevilla is a quality team. They're just not up to par with Dortmund. Like are they probably thought, okay, you know what, we'll let them play with the ball, whatever. But as soon as they let loose, we'll try to do the counter attack. It worked, you know. I mean, they managed to get 2 goals out of them playing, but I think they're just kind of waiting for them to mess up. Um, Possession wise, Dortmund I think had more possession than Sevilla in the past game. So we'll see what happens in this game. And but I think that's what they need to work on is pressuring more, especially Haaland. I don't know how you can pressure Haaland. Maybe you have 2 or 3 guys all at once on him. Probably have to
easier
have.
said than done.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, yeah, Kunde and Carlos are dude. They had their hands full, even just trying to stop him from running between the two of them while they're 3 feet
that's the
apart.
thing. No, the kid is fast. So somebody just needs to keep where his route is. Like, just try to. I don't know. Like I don't know how I would be able to stop him.
I'd call Carlos Puyol and hope for his flying karate kick from the World Cup to help me. That's my game plan. I don't know about you guys, but that's my game plan. But now he did get hurt. The one thing to mention about Erling Haaland, he did get pulled in the Der Klassiker against Bayern Munich for a large gash on his Achilles tendon or back of his leg, just above his ankle. Uh, they pulled him off early. I mean, it was like the 55th minute when they pulled him off. Very surprising. And it went on to get Lewandowski getting 2 goals right after that. Just killed the momentum really for Dortmund. So that is something to think about. That maybe Haaland might not be 100%. So this might be one that comes down to how well Dortmund's defense can play, and that's a huge question mark. But speaking of their defense, Hector, what does Sevilla have to do to take advantage of this Dortmund defense and advance in this game?
I mean, obviously they were able to score 2 goals off of them in the first leg, so I mean it's not necessarily. And I mean, obviously Dortmund is coming off of a very big loss, giving up 4 unanswered goals after being up 2-0 against Bayern Munich. And I mean, granted, that was Bayern Munich and this is Sevilla, but
Yeah.
I mean, aside from that, you could still learn some things from that. I think if you're Sevilla, obviously don't don't try to be too direct on one player. Erling Haaland, the possibility of him not playing could be a big factor for them to consider. That now it's more of shell the wealth and someone needs to step up for Dortmund. But at the same time, not only defensively, but Sevilla's got to go and take some opportunities. They need to make some risks. I think one thing that I'll say about Sevilla, even though they are a very gritty team and they fight through like the final minute, um, you could probably throw that label boring on this team. And it's just because they're so well structured. And I respect that.
Yeah.
But you're not going to, being well structured isn't going to help you win a Champions League title. It can help you win an Europa League title, but you're in the Champions League. You got to take some risk and you got to go for some big plays. I mean, you have the talent in there. Even Rakitic, you know what this guy can do from his
Yep.
time in Barcelona. They got guys that could come out and play. That's not the issue. It's just that they're going to have to take a big shot and make a big statement to get Dortmund in some sort of pressured moment. Because right now, it's just Dortmund comes in here, they score a goal, they're sitting even more comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, totally agree with you on that. I mean, you look at what Sevilla does. You talk about how they're labeled boring. It's because they're so tactically sound. It's scary. I mean, they might be one of the smartest coach teams be playing in the Champions League. But I'm glad you mentioned the Europa League. That's how you win Europa League titles. It's not how you win Champions League titles. Champions League titles, you usually have that guy that's transcendent. You have somebody that you can give the ball to take over. And who's going to be that guy for Sevilla, or the two guys for Sevilla to step in and allow them to take advantage of any Dortmund mistakes is going to be the big question mark going into this leg too. Because really, you kind of have to look at that. Like, you can be tactically sound all you want, you'll not give up a whole lot of goals, but you're not going to score a whole lot of goals in the Champions League. It feels like. Um, but on the flip side, Edward, what does Dortmund have to do to hold this lead and to finish this one out strong and move on in the Champions League?
Well, this is like let's say if Holland is gonna sit this one out, I guess they're really gonna have to rely on Pereira. I mean he's good. I like him. He plays in my opinion he plays like that. I guess maybe because he's Brazilian, so he has that dribble in him. But yeah, they're gonna have to. They do have their work cut out for them if Holland doesn't play, because they can't be like, oh, okay, we'll just feed the ball to Holland and Holland will take care of the rest, like natural instinct, whatever. At this point, it's gonna have to be kind of a grind for them at this point if Holland doesn't play. Um, Jane Sancho, Pereira, um, how do you say his name?
Which one, dude?
No, Mahoud.
Oh yeah, dude.
Dahoud. See, I even got that.
He even said the name before you.
I know, I even said it before. I'm so sorry, but I feel like having him in the midfielder would actually be. It's also key as well because he's good. He feeds the ball very well to the strikers, to the attackers. So, but not having Erling Haaland in the center when you're trying to do centers up front for headers or anything like that, it's gonna be kind of hard for to do those airball attacks. They're probably gonna have to shoot from the outside a lot more.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. So
yeah, definitely.
if Haaland doesn't play,
yeah, and that is definitely predicated on whether Haaland is going to be fit enough. I mean, it was a cut. It depends on really how his
how
cleat
deep?
feels when he puts it on at that point in time is going to be how much he can tolerate the pain and how much bleeding happens. I mean, because if you get blood on your kit, obviously they gotta change your kit around. So, how good is the tape job that he's going to be receiving? How much pain pills can he take beforehand to make himself successful? Is kind of really what it's going to weigh if he's going to play or not. But guys, that brings us to the moment of truth. How do we have this one finishing, and who advances? Since I started with Edward last time, Hector, we'll start with you this time.
Well, I actually did have Sevilla winning the first leg, but well, we all know how that turned out. I feel like even without Holland, Dortmund is still pretty talented. I mean, at this point, this is all they have riding for them. I mean, obviously their season isn't going the way they're hoping for. Obviously I mean, we already know who they're gonna have a new manager, Marco Rose. But a lot of these guys are gonna be factored in. Is that if there's no Champions League, a lot of these guys are gonna probably be leaving, and your best bet to come back to Champions League is by winning the Champions League.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that there's still a lot of talent on this team, even without Holland. It's just one of those things. It's just like there's always some young player that's coming up out of Dortmund that will come in and shine. But I think they'll still be able to manage and get a win. I think it's not going to be anything too crazy. I mean, they're honestly sitting pretty right now. They got 3 away goals. Sevilla can't afford to draw at any point. Like, they need to come up ahead of them, and so I think with that, I think it's just gonna be a 1-1 draw, and Dortmund just moves on up with a 4-3 on aggregate.
Yeah, wipes the brow, moves on.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a very safe option. I'm actually along the same lines as you with my draw. I have a draw as well, and this actually goes 2-2 Dortmund Sevilla. So I actually have Sevilla getting 2 away goals. and I actually the way I have it figured out is they have him early, and they put in Luke De Jong right after halftime. He gets a second goal, and it's 2-1 at that point in time. Sevilla over Dortmund, and Dortmund has to push and try to make sure they get an easy advancement. I mean, they probably could advance on a 4-4 aggregate because of away goals, but they wouldn't want to risk it. So at that point in time, you're just like, you know what, go for the draw. And they do have they finish at 2-2, and Dortmund advances 5-4 on aggregate. Just because I mean, if I'm Dortmund's coach, I'm with Hector. Like, your best way, like, what better way, first of all, to go and be an assistant coach for Marco Reus when he comes in, than to be a Champions League finalist or Champions League winner, and you got your team back in the Champions League for the next season, even if you didn't have a great league season. Like, I couldn't think of a better way to go out if I was going to be a coach getting demoted, really, to assistant coach. That'd be kind of the best way to do it. And then, Edward, what about you, man? How do you have this one finishing?
Well, this one, it is going to be a struggle. If Erling Haaland does play, I'll say that they win 3-1, Borussia Dortmund. But if he doesn't play, I see it a 2-1 or a 2-0.
Okay, so
I'm putting my hopes all on Dortmund, basically.
So do you want to give
a 2-1, 2-0 Sevilla?
No, 2-0 Dortmund as well.
Okay, so you have Dortmund advancing no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Just the one player.
Which one you want to go with? 2-0 or 3-1?
It's because I have to wait to see if Haaland.
Which one do you want to be wrong about?
There's no waiting, man. There's no waiting. It's today.
Fine. 2-0. 2-0.
2-0. All right.
2-0.
So you would have Dortmund advancing 5-2 on aggregate. All right. That's I thought we were being nice to Sevilla and La Liga teams right now.
Dude, they're like you guys said, they're tactically sound. They're
coming from the person they're not gonna even score a goal.
I mean, hey,
saying.
Is this say something nice about Sevilla moment?
I think this might need to be. I mean, Edward, if Sevilla ends up advancing, you might have to eat crow. I think we'll all have to eat crow a little bit, but at least we have them scoring goals in the second leg.
I'll have to eat the whole crow and feathers all together.
Yeah, I mean, Prince Joffrey, look out! Edward's on his way. But
no. Edward's over here saying, "No, this team's really good tactically, but 2-0."
Yeah, but 2-0 loss, no big deal. Just 2-0 loss. I mean, I know they just beat my favorite team in the Copa del Rey or anything, but
actually,
yeah, that doesn't matter.
They also choked. They also choked on Barcelona.
Maybe that's why I have a little bit of a vendetta against them. That's why I'm like.
But Barcelona got the revenge. They're on to the Copa del Rey final.
Yeah.
So,
it's Copa del Rey.
Copa del Rey.
But that does it for us today, guys. We will be back tomorrow. For Hector and Edward from the Insert Name FC podcast, check them out at Insert Name FC on Twitter and also on Instagram. And then for me, High-Low Sports Podcast at high_low_sports on Twitter. God, that's such a mouthful. We really need to change our handle or something. But yeah, guys, that does it for us. We'll be back tomorrow, guys, to bring you more Champions League action as we preview Leg 2 of PSG Barcelona and Liverpool Leipzig. 2 games we both myself and Edward have a little bit of a stake in for this singing bet. But until tomorrow, guys, see ya.
Take care.